Will Xiao Yan become the #1 alchemist on the continent? Meanwhile, the nihility-devouring flame invaded the Yao clan, burning down the fleeing powerful experts. The clan leader's plea for help from the Lei clan and the Yin clan ended in failure, forcing him to activate the heavenly formation. Now that's a trailer, and what an epic series of events. Let's go through everything in order. The Yao ceremony officially began. Xiao Yan became the 4th participant, standing alongside such giants of the alchemy world as Elder Yao Wanhua and Old Man Shen Nong. As for Hanhuzi, his pill refining skills were equally extraordinary. After all, he was the chief alchemist of the Han clan. All 4 possessed heavenly flames, but Xiao Yan was undoubtedly the one who surprised, or rather, shocked, everyone the most. Not only did he possess 6 different heavenly flames, but he also controlled the number 3 heavenly flame in the ranking, the purifying demonic lotus flame. More precisely, Xiao Yi, the flame spirit. Even veteran alchemists of their caliber possessed nothing comparable. Old Man Shen Nong's heavenly flame was equally astonishing. Xiao Yan even wanted to obtain it for himself. We talked about that in detail in the previous videos. By the way, guys, I noticed a few comments saying that the story in these videos feels too stretched out. Let me explain. Everything shown here follows the original novel exactly. Honestly, people used to enjoy these kinds of details because the anime cuts out so much, while here you get to learn everything that was omitted. With that said, Xiao Yan and the other 3 Tier 9 alchemists began refining their pills. Each of them summoned a cauldron formed entirely from their heavenly flame. Xiao Yan looked at his enormous pink cauldron created from the purifying demonic lotus flame. With a wave of his hand, medicinal ingredients flew out from his storage ring. The sheer quantity of different ingredients was terrifying, leaving many alchemists completely speechless. Xiao Yan commanded, "Go!" Little Li dived into the flaming cauldron. Her power instantly engulfed thousands of medicinal ingredients. The flames inside the cauldron suddenly surged to an astonishing level. What exactly was Xiao Yan planning to do? Is he really planning to refine that many medicinal ingredients at the same time? The faces of the Yao clan elders, even the clan leader himself, couldn't help twitching. Every medicinal ingredient required its own unique refining method. Was he really going to throw all of them into the cauldron together just like that? Yao Lao simply smirked from his seat as he watched Xiao Yan. He had complete confidence in him because Xiao Yan's alchemy skills had long since surpassed those of his own master. Many members of the younger generation of the Yao clan stood frozen in shock. Even Yao Tian, the greatest young alchemist of the clan, who had achieved the best result during the younger generation competition, finally realized just how enormous the gap between himself and Xiao Yan had become. Besides Yao Tian, Yao Lin also watched the calm young figure standing in the sky with full attention. For the first time in many years, she saw someone from her own generation competing on equal footing with legendary alchemy masters such as Elder Yao Wanhua and Shen Nong. She couldn't help but admire him from the bottom of her heart. Yao Lin turned toward her fiancé, Yao Xingji, and asked, "Xiao Yan didn't seem this powerful when we met him in the Gu clan, did he?" He replied, "That's right. Back then he was only an ordinary Do Zun. Although his spiritual strength was already powerful, it hadn't reached such a terrifying level. When he first met Xiao Yan, the two of them had been roughly equals. Who could have imagined that such an enormous gap would separate them now? His spiritual strength has already reached the same level as Elder Wanhua's. The perfect heavenly state." A strange light flickered within Yao Lin's eyes. Since birth, her soul had always been different from everyone else's. The clan leader had once told her that if fortune favored her, she might even reach the legendary divine state one day. She had always taken pride in her spiritual strength. Yet Xiao Yan had become the only person of her generation who had completely surpassed her. Meanwhile, thousands of medicinal ingredients remained under the complete control of the flame spirit. Her precision while refining the ingredients was absolutely flawless. The other 3 alchemists were likewise refining enormous quantities of medicinal ingredients. Although they possessed no heavenly flame spirit and therefore couldn't match Xiao Yan's efficiency, they were still among the most experienced alchemists on the entire continent. After an entire day, Xiao Yan completely pulled ahead. His enormous cauldron trembled continuously, producing a deep humming sound. Shortly after Xiao Yan finished refining his ingredients, Hanhuzi threw countless refined medicinal essences into his own flaming cauldron and shouted, "Power of the world, obey my command." The instant his voice echoed across the sky, endless natural energy gathered around his cauldron, drawn in by an overwhelming devouring force. This horrifying devouring power caused the surrounding energy to form a gigantic storm above the arena. The terrifying spectacle shocked everyone present. Very few people were capable of absorbing natural energy while refining pills. Even Yao Dan frowned deeply. So this was the terrifying power of the void-devouring flame in Hanhuzi's possession. He was actually planning to refine a Tier 9 mystic pill. Elder Yao Wanhua immediately shouted, "Natural energy, gather." He too intended to refine a Tier 9 mystic pill. "Naturally, I can't fall behind either." Old man Shin Nong laughed. He waved his sleeve, sending immense waves of majestic energy pouring into his flaming cauldron. Watching all three alchemists attempt to refine Tier 9 mystic pills, Xiao Yan merely smiled. "Since the three of you are so determined, I can only join you." A powerful devouring force erupted from Xiao Yan's flaming cauldron, drawing in the surrounding natural energy. Everyone's hearts trembled. All four of them were actually refining the legendary Tier 9 mystic pills. Such a scene was truly an extremely rare sight. It is worth remembering that Tier 9 pills are divided into three categories: treasure pills, mystic pills, and golden pills. Previously, the greatest pill Xiao Yan had ever refined was a Tier 9 treasure pill, one that summoned black lightning. As we can see, the level of this alchemy competition was on an entirely different level. Yao Dan quietly observed everything. With his keen eyesight, he could clearly perceive the struggle taking place among the four competitors. Refining a Tier 9 mystic pill required an unimaginably vast amount of natural energy. Although the energy surrounding the medicine mountain was exceptionally dense, it was nowhere near enough to support the simultaneous refinement of four such pills. Each participant had only a 25% chance of succeeding. Yao Dan did not believe that any one of them would be able to complete the refinement successfully. Yao Lao also frowned. Before leaving, Xiao Yan had received an extremely rare Tier 9 mystic pill formula from the first elder of the Pill Tower. That was precisely the pill Xiao Yan was attempting to refine. It should be noted that no one had successfully refined a mystic pill during the past 100 years. Meanwhile, natural energy raged wildly. Four gigantic tornadoes surrounded the four flaming cauldrons. The spectators around the arena suddenly felt their own dou qi trying to escape from their bodies under the overwhelming suction. Everyone hurriedly retreated, afraid of losing their cultivation. This continued for 3 entire days. Refining a Tier 9 mystic pill could truly be described as creating a divine object with mortal hands. Whenever a Tier 9 mystic pill was born during the ancient era, everything within a radius of 5 kilometers became completely barren because every trace of natural energy was absorbed by the pill itself. 3 more days passed, and everything finally quieted down. The 4 flaming cauldrons floated high in the sky. Surprisingly, all of the natural energy on Medicine Mountain had been completely exhausted. Yao Dan helplessly shook his head. "There isn't enough energy in this place. The pill refinement has failed," the Yao clan elders announced. The embryonic forms of the pills inside the 4 cauldrons suspended in the sky had only reached the halfway point. Meanwhile, every bit of natural energy within a radius of 5,000 kilometers had already been completely drained. So what would Xiao Yan do now? The perfect heavenly state allowed one to control the natural energy within a radius of 5,000 kilometers. Of course, if their souls had reached the legendary divine state, everything would have been completely different. Xiao Yan and the other 3 alchemists fixed their eyes on the half-formed pills before them. If they could no longer draw energy from their surroundings, their own dou qi alone would never be enough to complete the refinement. "It seems that none of us will succeed this time." Elder Yao Wanhua laughed bitterly. "Not necessarily." Hanhuzi's voice suddenly rang out. He immediately attempted to steal the energy gathered by Xiao Yan and the other 2 alchemists. The energy that had been absorbed into the cauldrons of the other 3 alchemists was forcefully devoured by his black flame. "Hanhuzi, how dare you!" Yao Wanhua never expected Hanhuzi to target their energy. Old man Shin Nong and Elder Yao Wanhua shouted furiously. The life spirit flame and the 9 serene wind flame instantly burst forth and fiercely collided with the black flame. However, the terrifying devouring power erupted, completely suppressing both heavenly flames. Neither of them could compete against the void devouring flame. Hanhuzi burst into loud laughter. But then something happened that completely caught him by surprise. What happened above Xiao Yan's cauldron? Little E raised her tiny hand with a look of complete disdain. The pink flame instantly erupted and wrapped itself around the black flame. Its purifying power completely destroyed the devouring force. This was no ordinary flame seed of the void devouring flame, but it was obvious that it still could not compete with the true purifying demonic lotus flame. Hanhuzi, thank you for your gift. I'll gladly accept your energy, Xiao Yan said with a slight smile. He purified the black flame into pure energy before pouring it directly into his own cauldron. The embryonic pill inside immediately began approaching completion. Hanhuzi was furious. He had never expected that not only would he fail to devour their energy, but he would actually lose part of the power contained within his own flame. Nevertheless, his black flame continued devouring energy from the cauldrons of Old Man Shin Nong and Elder Yao Wanhua. As a result, his embryonic pill grew brighter and brighter, gradually nearing completion. Hanhuzi had only just begun celebrating when Little E herself suddenly appeared on top of his cauldron. Right before Hanhuzi's stunned eyes, she slapped the lid of the cauldron with her tiny palm, grabbed his embryonic pill, and vanished like smoke. Now that was an unexpected twist. Xiao Yi had shamelessly stolen Hanhuzi's pill. You're courting death. Hanhuzi roared in fury. The entire situation had become unbelievably comical. Little E had suddenly barged into Hanhuzi's flaming cauldron and snatched away his embryonic pill. Not only did this enrage Hanhuzi, but even Xiao Yan himself was completely stunned. He had absolutely nothing to do with it. Little E had acted entirely on her own initiative. Yao Dan and the many Yao clan elders watching from the arena stared at the scene with expressions of complete disbelief. No one had imagined that Xiao Yan's heavenly flame spirit could be so bold. But then again, Hanhuzi had shamelessly tried to steal the energy of his opponents. Why shouldn't someone do the same to him? You deserved it. That was exactly what everyone was thinking. Yao Dan simply shook his head. Under countless astonished gazes, Little E burst into brilliant flames in midair. The next instant, she reappeared on Xiao Yan's shoulder. She hugged the pill tightly in her arms. Inside it, the faint silhouette of what looked like a child could be seen. It was the embryonic form of the pill Hanhuzi had been refining. Xiao Yan, today I'll tear you to pieces. Hanhuzi's face turned ice cold. Never in his life had he suffered such humiliation. The embryonic pill he had painstakingly refined had been snatched away by Little E. The rage burning inside his heart simply could not be described with words. We'll see what happens next very soon, so don't forget to leave plenty of likes. This video is already quite long, and there's still enough story left for at least 2 more videos, so we'll continue everything in the next one. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time.